Welcome to the Help Me Abide podcast, a program dedicated to helping you have a closer walk with God by sharing biblical truths and relatable testimonies of women who have overcome. Whether you're a seasoned believer or just starting your spiritual journey, this podcast has something for you. Each episode will supply encouragement and wise, practical advice to inspire and challenge you to abide in the one who has all the answers to life's questions. A woman who abides in the shadow of the Almighty is a woman who lives safe and secure. Sit back and enjoy a few minutes of positive conversation with your host, Jennifer Beil, and friends.
Help me abide in the one who has the power. Help me abide each day and every hour. Remind me that without you, my efforts are in vain, so that others will see you. Help me abide.
Welcome back to the Help Me Abide podcast, where today we're delving into a topic that's increasingly relevant in our digitally driven world, the dangers of too much screen time and its profound effects on our mental, spiritual, and emotional health. The average person worldwide spends approximately 6 hours and 40 minutes on screens daily. In the US, this number is slightly higher, averaging 7 hours and 4 minutes. A significant portion of the screen time is dedicated to social media, with the average user spending about 2 hours and 24 minutes on these platforms daily. In this episode, we'll be joined by Mrs Tammy Goddard, the pastor's wife of my home church. Together, we'll discuss how excessive screen time can contribute to anxiety, depression, and bad habits that our children are developing. We'll also explore practical strategies for achieving a healthier balance. There are several resources mentioned in this episode, so make sure to check out our show notes or our webpage to check out the resources that we shared. My hope and prayer is that this episode will not only bring you awareness of this evolving issue, but will encourage you to make some positive changes. Ready to be equipped and encouraged? Let's get into the heart of today's episode. Hello, listeners. Welcome back to the Help Me Abide podcast. Today, I'm thrilled to have veteran podcast guest and our very own podcast facilitator, Tammy Goddard, join us. Mrs. Goddard, welcome back to the podcast.
Oh, it's nice to be here, Jen.
Yay. Today, we're going to be talking about screen time, its benefits, its detriments, and some practical solutions to overcome our addictions. I want to start off with clearly stating this episode is in no way a condemnation to anyone. Our goal is to help and not to hurt. I am so guilty of being addicted to my phone, being sucked in and trapped by social media, and having my device in my hand all the time. So this is not, you guys are bad and we're good. It's not that at all. Season 4 was entitled Help Me, so please understand we're just trying to help. Okay. With that public service announcement out of the way, let's start our conversation about screen time. Mrs. Goddard, can you share with us some benefits of technology?
I turned 66. Excuse me, I sound like it too. 66 in 9 days. Mark it down. July
Yes.
20th.
Happy birthday.
And I love technology. It's made my life so much better and a lot easier. But I do understand that we are going to talk about some of the dangers. But I just want to talk about it's so educational. You can learn to do anything because of technology. You Google it and you could build a house. I mean, you can
It's
do
true.
anything, you know. If you want to know how to get a spot out of a stain out of clothing, you can find out anything. So it's educational. My husband, he does a lot of science with our grandchildren. We have little grandchildren. We have teenagers and little ones, but the little ones, he'll say, "Come on, let's watch frogs eat things," and he'll show how frogs use their tongues to eat bugs, and he'll talk about frogs. And so there's just so many fun ways that you can use technology. Educational, it can encourage creativity and imagination with children. I just visited my grandchildren in Florida, and they play video games, and they were teaching me how to use the controller and how certain buttons make you jump and certain buttons make you run. And so I thought, man, this is teaching these kids to be coordinated and
There you go.
hand-eye coordination. So if you're not spending too much time, it's great for that. It's great for learning how to solve problems.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those games, if you're wise in choosing the video games, the children have to solve problems and accomplish goals. So there are some really wonderful advantages of technology that we didn't have so much when my children were growing up. When I have 11 grandchildren, and if I have them all over here all day long, sometimes technology gives me a chance to sit down and drink a cup of coffee or take a shower,
Absolutely.
because I could just put them on something that I is approved and it's okay, and I could leave and I know everyone's settled and everything's okay for a very short time. Also, of course, I have grandchildren who live in Florida. I have grandchildren who are they have lived and they're going back to Trinidad. I could keep in touch with them and they could know me.
Yes.
FaceTime. When I go visit my grandchildren in Florida, I'm not a stranger to them. I've talked with them. We talk about things they do. I talk about what I'm going to bring them when I come visit
Mm,
them. And so it keeps me close to those kids that I'm not with every day. It also, of course, is just a place for entertainment if you choose the right entertainment. It's good to just relax once in a while and have some good entertainment. It's a great place to get preaching. You could get really good preaching.
yes.
So much that we have at our fingertips that will improve
Mm-hmm.
our life because of technology. And it helps you keep organized. You have your phone, it has a calendar on it that will help you not forget your appointments. It helps you, GPS. I love GPS. It's the
Thank you.
greatest invention ever. It gives me confidence to go anywhere and everywhere because don't you wish life is like that?
Right.
You made a wrong turn. Just make a U-turn if possible, and we'll
Yes.
tell you how to get back on the right track. But anyway, I do love technology, and I use it a lot. I love to shop online. I
Mm-hmm.
hate going to stores, but it saves me so much time. So I think it's safe to say that there are many wonderful uses for technology,
For sure.
and it's not all evil. But
Can I pop in and just say a couple of things that I enjoy about technology as well? You were mentioning keeping you organized. I have a horrible memory and I have a birthday app that puts all of the birthdays of all of my friends and family members and it gives me a notification 3 days before. So that totally helps my life and makes me feel like I'm on top of things. Like you said, when I was in Africa, we got to FaceTime Brett's family and my family. And I felt like my kids got to know my parents. My kids got to know his parents. It wasn't like they're strangers when we were coming home. I started a photography business a few years ago, and most everything I learned was online for free. YouTube videos, like you said, you could almost learn anything you want to learn with technology. Another way that I use technology is the Bible app, the YouVersion Bible app. I love. I try to, and most days I'm successful with reading a psalm and a chapter from the New Testament even before I get out of bed. Before my feet hit the ground, I just cleanse myself with God's word, and I use that on my phone. And also, I like the YouVersion app because you could ask people to join reading the Bible with you, and they will comment what they got out of the Bible that day. It's really neat. It's an accountability. So, like Mrs. Goddard said, technology isn't all bad. There's a lot of wonderful things that technology can add to our
you know,
lives.
I do all my Bible study on my computer.
There you go.
Because I've got a concordance, I've got a Bible dictionary, I've got Treasury of Scripture Knowledge that is such a great Bible study tool.
Yes,
When I do all my lessons, then I can drag over the verses and drop them into notes. The computer has just revolutionized my ability to get my Bible reading organized. It's like
yes,
I don't journal. I use a computer, so it
right.
is journaling. It's just not handwriting; it's typing.
Exactly, which is neater generally. Actually, you have good handwriting. But another thing that we're rabbit trailing, but um you use PowerPoints for your Sunday school class and for your latest conference talks. I'm a visual learner, and that is wonderful to be able to use technology in a way that helps others. We could go on to the next subject.
Why don't you talk about the mental health problems that can come from too much technology?
Okay, so my sister Jessica is the dean of students and she's an upper level math teacher at Greater Atlanta Christian School in Georgia. And her administration told all of the staff that it was required for them to read this book. And Jessica read the book and she just couldn't stop talking about it to all of us. She kept talking about it, talking about it, talking about it. And I don't generally read books that are not by independent fundamental Baptist, but she kept pressuring and just said how phenomenal it was. So I did. I read the book. Then after I read it, I was talking about it so much that Brett read it. And it's a really good book. It is written by an atheist, but it was full of data that proves how technology could really poorly affect our youth. Although the author is a liberal atheist, he can't help but admit that boys and girls are different. He says that boys tend to struggle with pornography and addiction to video games, which leads to a failure to launch. They don't want to leave their homes. They want to stay in their house because they have everything they need. They have the girls and they're beating levels, so they don't have to go out and actually do anything in the actual world. And then girls struggle with social media and the depression that follows, the comparing ourselves among ourselves, which happens in social media. I do recommend reading the book. Of course, you should read it through the lens of God's word to disregard any nonsense. Honestly, when I'm reading it, it's like a Baptist preacher preaching to his congregation. These are truths that I have heard for decades, but now science is catching up to those truths.
Yeah, that always happens, doesn't it?
It's so true. So let me give you just a few statistics. Emergency room visits from self-harm rose by 188% among teenage girls and 48% among boys. The suicide rate for younger adolescents also increased by 167% among girls and 91% among boys. The number of kids reporting depression and anxiety rose steadily over every year since the smartphone was released, until rates are now up to 134% are more anxious and depressed since smartphones have been released. Let me read you this. Jonathan Haidt, the author, argues that increased smartphone use and social media have negatively impacted the mental health of children and adolescents, leading to an epidemic of mental illness. So this is what he recommends, okay? This is what this atheist psychologist recommends. No smartphones before high school. No social media before the age of 16. Phone-free schools and more unsupervised play and independence for children. I am so glad that our pastor and the staff have decided to implement these books' recommendations decades ago. Honestly, our school has a policy that you cannot have social media until you graduate. Our church and our pastor recommends that kids do not have phones, period, until they have a job or a car. Our youth pastor states that you're not allowed to have a phone out at a youth activity or at church, so that there's actual social interaction. So I'm glad that I am in a place that has protected my children against anxiety and depression, mental illness, and suicide, that they saw beforehand the dangers. So science is catching up to that. Do you have anything else to add to that, Mrs. Goddard?
The Bible teaches all of that.
Yes.
So if you have the Bible as your guide, the Bible says a wise man foreseeth evil
Exactly.
and hideth himself from it. So Christians have at their fingertips wisdom from the Word of God.
Right.
We can always see ahead. If we know our Bible, we can see ahead and understand. The science always has to catch up with the Bible.
Yes.
We've stressed that the child doesn't need a phone.
Yep.
And so there's a reason.
Yes.
And then all they need is a phone.
Exactly.
They don't need all the internet.
Yeah. Psalms 119, 105. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. And the word is the light. In light of 2 Corinthians 10:12, what are the dangers of social media when it comes to comparing ourselves among ourselves?
Well, the Bible says in 2 Corinthians 10:12, we dare not make ourselves of the number or compare ourselves with some that commend themselves, but they measuring themselves by themselves and comparing themselves among themselves are not wise. If you have a young person have social media, what are they doing? They're comparing the days that these people had with their days, the families they have with the vacations they took, the things they possess. And they're feeling like they're missing something. Life's not fair. I'm missing something. They look at only the photoshopped images of their friends. Friends is not even the same word as it used to be.
It's true.
You know, what is a friend? A friend is not just somebody you click like on their social media.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're told in the Bible to pick our friends very carefully.
Yeah.
But it creates pride and a feelings of superiority. It creates inferiority.
Mm-hmm.
It's not wise. They might think, oh, I've got more followers than anybody else. It's not healthy for a teenager. I don't believe a teenager is emotionally equipped to handle all that comes with social media.
Yes.
You're just adding more problems to their life.
Yes.
They have enough of problems in their own little life.
It's so
They
true.
do not need exposed to the rest of the drama of life.
Yes. I remember being a junior high girl and not knowing who I was, what I wanted to be. I was so confused about the world. I didn't need anything else pulling me in different directions. It's a dangerous time.
Actually, I think the average woman doesn't really need.
You're not wrong.
We're not going to go there. I don't think it's all bad, but I do believe it's not as healthy as we think it is for some people.
Yes,
And you need to know how it's affecting you.
it's
And if
true.
it's affecting you in a negative way, get rid of it.
Yep.
Why do you want anyone to know your business? And why do we need to know anyone else's business? It's amazing. But I didn't grow up in that, so I don't comprehend that. I'm a very private person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to share my vacation with people who don't even like me. They say they like me, but I really don't believe it.
Right.
We have family chats, we have, things like that, but just people out in the world, they don't need to know my business. And I
Right.
really don't care about their business. In fact, if I look too closely, it depresses me. So I don't want to know what people are doing.
It's true. And we're only seeing people's highlight reels. We're seeing the pictures of the vacation. We're not seeing the fight over the finances that it took to get to that
No,
vacation or the fight
right.
afterwards because they can't pay their bills or anything in between. We're just seeing have you seen the videos of people going to take a picture and you could see they're all grumpy and sad, but then they go to take a picture and they're smiling. And then as soon as the camera's gone, they go right back to, yes, we're seeing a highlight reel and it's dangerous. I know I've been guilty when I was on social media of deleting posts because they didn't get enough likes, second guessing who I was because this didn't get the response that I was expecting it to. I mean, that's disgusting. It's pride. But I'm exposing myself here, but it's true. I fell into many traps on social media and the Lord did convict me to get rid of it. And I'll say it took me 2 to 3 years to submit to the Lord on that because I was trying to reason with him for all of the good reasons that I was on there. But I will say, and you mentioned it, you have family chat.
Yes.
Yes, we text with each other. I find myself to have more meaningful conversations since I've gotten rid of social media because I'm sharing photos with my friends who actually care about my vacation.
Right. Real friends.
Exactly.
The true definition of friend.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, for sure. Well, in your opinion, what are some of the social implications of spending too much time on screens?
I'll start off with an example. I was recently somewhere. I want to keep this anonymous in case this person is listening to this podcast. But I was
I
having
always
a
say that.
conversation.
You may know who I'm talking about,
Right.
but you don't.
Exactly. You don't. It's not you. Don't worry. It's not you.
It's not the person you're thinking of.
It's not the person you're thinking of. But I was having a conversation and they were with two girls and they're beautiful, kind, great girls. And I was speaking with them and I would ask them the question. They would have no problem answering the question. But as soon as I went to go talk, you could tell they were not listening to me and they were looking for something around to stimulate them. They could not keep their attention and focus. They were not looking me. They would look at me in the eyes when they were answering my question. But then when I was talking, I thought, whoa, this is so real. It was the first time that I saw in real life how technology has really hurt our youth in personal interactions because it's not only YouTube videos anymore, it's not only Facebook feeds and Instagram feeds, it's shorts. That 20-minute video for me to watch is too long. Now I need a 15-second video or a 1-minute video. And sometimes that 1-minute video is too long. Get to the point, get to the funny part. So I could sense that they could not listen to me because I was not entered. And a super dull person. I don't feel like what I was saying was boring, but it wasn't to the point enough, and I thought that was alarming. Another example I could use is when Brett and I are on a date. And I am as guilty as he is. We're both guilty at this, where we're having a meaningful conversation and then a text comes in. And maybe it is an important text. The texts
Mhm.
come in and either my or his brain is turned off and totally focused on dealing with that matter.
Right.
So I noticed that being a problem with interpersonal reaction. And then how often am I talking face to face with somebody in an actual conversation with a friend and I get a text or I get a notification and I go to check that?
Right.
I know that there are scientific words for this, but those dings and those vibrates send a dopamine zing. I know that's not the right word, a dopamine hit to your brain, and you want to know what is on the other end of that
Right.
ding. So I think people are spending much less time socializing in person and much more time glued to their screens. With women, again, social media, and men, they get hooked to gaming and porn. But life is no longer people based, it's phone based. And
Right.
I think that that's dangerous.
I agree.
Yeah.
I know when my husband and I go out, um, I don't take my phone out, and he might glance at a text, but he doesn't answer it unless somebody died or something,
Right.
because he may
Important.
pass. He
Yeah.
might pass. But most of the time, they'll still be dead when we're done eating dinner.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So anyway, it is true. You have to decide. And when family's over, the
Mm-hmm.
phones are away. I mean, be with who you're with.
Yes.
If your phone is controlling you, how sad a life that is. It's just sad
Right.
that our phones are controlling us.
It's true. We have to get angry at it and be intentional. But first, we have to recognize, I need to recognize I have a problem. What am I going to do about it? And we'll talk about that
Yes,
at the end.
and you're not all that strong sometimes, so you have to avoid it. You have to make it where it can't happen.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
whether
Yes.
turn off the dings,
Yes.
you know, just turn off the notifications when you're on a date, and then if, like I said, if you forget to turn them back on, you'll have a very peaceful day for the
Yes.
rest.
The date will last even longer.
Yes.
Could you discuss the potential effects of taking unhealthy advice from peers and acquaintances online?
Well, you might even be able to help more with this than me. I just know scripturally, he that walk with wise men shall be wise,
Right.
but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. I remember when I memorized that verse, and it hit me. I better study the Bible and find out what God considers foolish
Hmm.
or a fool. And I did a whole Bible study on what is a fool? What do foolish people do? How do foolish people act? What
Mm-hmm.
types of places do foolish people go to? Because if a companion of fools will destroy me, I want to make sure I can identify a fool.
Yeah.
And so, unfortunately, there are a lot of fools
Ye-
on the internet,
Absolutely.
whether in a podcast or in social media. I mean, even listening to too much conservative news,
Yep.
you'll find a lot of foolishness. And so, giving a teen access to online influences will more than likely destroy them.
Yeah.
Why do I say that confidently? Because God said it.
Mm,
Teenagers are developing their moral compass.
right.
They don't have all the wisdom. They're young, they're just learning. And it is up to us parents to decide who's going to influence our children.
Mm-hmm.
There's too much bad advice that's offered on the internet. And we should not be allowing our children and our teenagers to just be able to access.
Yes.
That's why social media is so bad. They're getting all their values from their peers.
Yes.
And like I said, a parent ought to decide who influences your children.
Mm-hmm.
I just know we cannot afford to be a companion of fools.
I completely agree. There's people's jobs who their job title is influencer. They are influencing not only our teens, but us as well. I know I mentioned this on Tracy's episode, but I was getting caught in some psychological loops where there was these psychologists, and I'm very interested in the human emotion and the human psyche. And so I was starting to listen to conservative people who have similar values to me, but people who were not saved. And
Uh-huh.
that's dangerous because the Bible says, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. I'm getting counsel from ungodly people. They are not saved. They do not have the same scriptural foundation that I have, but I'm allowing them to influence my life in whatever area, politically, psychologically, relationally, how they talk about being a wife, being a mother. And although maybe some of what they're saying is true, that's how the enemy works, with a lot of truth and some error.
You deceive. Hmm.
Yes, we definitely have to be careful with that. And then there's no control. Things pop up on your feed, they're not your friends. Or you're on TikTok or you're on YouTube, and you don't get to control the next reel that comes up. And we all know that we're not consistently strong. We have moments of weakness. So
Right.
although we may be strong today and we've walked with God and we are able to swipe and say, no, that's not what I want. We're not strong all the time, especially at night. Our inhibition is low. We're tired. We just want to be entertained and we let things go. So it's a danger for sure. It's a
And I
danger.
think one of the most dangerous parts about screens is they're a personal device.
Yes.
You will sit and watch something on your phone that if it were on the screen in the middle of the room, even if it was just you and your husband, you would turn it
Great
off.
point. Great
But on
point.
your phone, nobody sees what you're looking at, and it catches curiosity, and you listen to it longer than you ought to.
Yes,
To me, that's one of the biggest dangers.
I agree.
Your personal device.
That's a great point.
There's no accountability.
That's right.
Okay, so Jen, what ways would you say an individual could balance the necessity of screens, like maybe in a professional environment, with the need to disconnect? Like, how do they balance that?
Okay, so this is a real struggle for me because I'm a workaholic. I get that from my dad. When my family wants to watch a Michigan football game, or when my family even wants to watch a family movie together, I think, oh, that's great. You guys could watch and I will listen, but I'm going to be working. And working means I'm on a screen and I'm not with my family. So I struggle with this very much because I want to get things done. And to me, watching a Michigan football game is not getting things done. But I need to reprogram my mind to think I am spending time with my family. And that is a
Mhm.
benefit of technology. We could come together and do this as a family. So I read a book, I don't remember the name of it, but it was a few years ago, and it talked about the Jewish workday. And it explained that the Jewish day starts at 6 p.m. and they start with eating a meal together as a family, which is a lost art in America, eating a meal together as a family and then spending time with their family from after the meal until they go to bed. They go to bed, they wake up, and from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., they could work as hard as they want. That is their work time. But then their day starts again at 6 p.m. with family dinner and with
Mm.
family time. That book revolutionized my mind and my philosophy about work, and it has really transformed my shutting off technology at 6 p.m.
Mhm.
That has
Mhm.
really helped me. My work at that time is my family. And
Right.
if I take it as that perspective, is this is okay, my day is beginning and I'm beginning with eating with my family, talking with my family, spending time with my family, and using that as my work. And then from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., I could do as much as I want. I could go crazy.
Right.
Do you have anything to add to that or do you want to go on?
The screens should not have the priority 24/7.
Right.
And unfortunately, I think that's where we are in our society today.
Yes. Even if it's productive, it
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
yes. But the family, especially with mothers and the family, even when you have little children, priorities are so important, and
Agreed.
that's you decided what the priority would be.
Yes. And made
Mhm.
it clear. This is what it is and this is what to expect. And it works. It works for me. How can parents and educators effectively manage screen time for children without completely limiting their access?
So I'm going to kind of go off on a little tangent here. Proverbs 22:6 says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." All of us mothers know that verse by heart.
Yeah,
Um, we should be careful about relying on screens to distract a child from a problem rather than having them figure it out and learn to restore it themselves. My mind is very methodical.
Mm-hmm.
And as a parent, I think we need to have a list of things that we want to teach our children.
Mm.
Okay, this includes practical skills. Maybe that's how to mow a lawn, how to weed a flower garden, how to vacuum a floor, how to make a bed, how to organize a closet, how to clean a bathroom. Whatever those are things would be good for your children to learn. Maybe it could be manners, how to interact with people.
Yes.
What are manners? Or morals, that's biblical truths applied to your life every day. So if technology can help us reach these goals, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's a great tool. Use it. But if it's hindering us from reaching these goals, we need to get rid of it or limit it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about the technology in our life as a mother.
Yes.
For instance, I've watched mothers, what they do, instead of teaching a child to have self control. Okay, we're going to the grocery store. I have a 2-year-old. I put him in the basket. Instead of teaching them to have self control and to sit in the grocery cart and to go through the grocery store, we give them a screen
Right.
so that they could be entertained and be good for us while we go through the grocery store. But yet they're not learning anything.
Yeah.
It's educational for a child to go to a grocery store. They're
Mm-hmm.
looking around, they're seeing people, they're seeing how items are lined up neatly on a shelf, they're
Mm-hmm.
seeing how the produce is laid out. They are learning a lot, even as a 2-year-old going
Yep.
to the grocery store. But if you give them a screen because you have not taught them to behave and be able to sit, then they don't learn anything.
Right.
They're learning Donald Duck
Yep.
or whatever it is on that screen. That's what they're learning. That is hindering one of the things you want your child to learn.
Mm.
Children who are from very young all the way up have too much screen time. They don't have an attention span. They get bored so easily.
Yes. It's not real life.
No, it isn't. And also using a screen time to distract a young child. Maybe they're having a problem sharing a toy. So instead of solving the problem and teaching them how to share, you distract them from the problem. You give them a screen so that they will behave.
Right.
If there's any kind of bad behavior, you bribe them with a screen
Right.
so they don't have to deal with it. And I see that a lot with young mothers. It's just an easy way to deal with it. But they're not learning, they're not training up a child
That's right.
in the way he should go. But I just feel like one of the problems I think we have as mothers is we do not have a goal set in our mind in all these different areas of what our role is in
Mm.
training a child up in the way they should go. Really, I don't know how a child would have the time to spend on a screen with all of the things there is to learn,
Yes.
all of the different ways that you can spend time teaching your children. Like I said, if technology helps with that, use it. But if it doesn't, then it needs to be limited. You need to get rid of it.
I had somebody come into the house 2 days ago because Brooklyn was getting fit for her stroller. After she had her spinal surgery, she grew 2 inches overnight and her wheelchair doesn't fit her anymore. So she needs to get fitted for she's so long and straight. Praise the Lord. So her wheelchair doesn't fit her. A man came in and Blake and Jackson were at the table doing puzzles. He was probably in the house 2 or 3 minutes when he asked them, "Oh, I'm surprised you aren't playing video games." This man doesn't know us. This is the second time we met. He had come once before to fit Brooklyn for something else, but he assumed that
Yes.
every teenage boy would be on a video game, and they were having a challenge against each other doing a 500-piece puzzle, who could finish their puzzle first. So,
Mhm.
my boys are competitive. There are ways for them to be entertain
Mhm.
themselves by doing something that's fun. Putting a puzzle
Mhm.
together is fun. I know not for everybody,
Easy.
but it is fun.
Mhm.
And
It is.
they're using their brain, they're using their
Mhm.
skills. And I said to the man, they would be playing video games if they were allowed to play video games, but they're not
Right.
allowed to play video games.
They would be.
So
Yes.
they figured something else to do.
Yes. Mhm.
And then another thing is, I remember my kids being at the park. And I thought, okay, I'm doing something good. I'm bringing my kids to the park. They're getting to play, and it's good for them to release a lot of their energy. This is time where I could relax and sit on a park bench and scroll or do whatever
Mhm.
I need to do on my phone. But then I realized they kept looking back at me to see if I was watching them because boys love
Yes.
their mom to watch them. And I thought, I'm missing out on an opportunity to praise my sons. Jackson's about to be 19. Still, hey, mom, watch this. Hey,
I
mom, look
know.
at this. They want us to look at them. So I was missing out on an opportunity to praise them. So we just have to just to be mindful of how much screens distract us from ways that we
Yes.
can be being beneficial to our children or helping our children be beneficial to themselves.
Right. So, how can you help your child and your spouse not become a prey to the enemy's temptation that is so easily available online? I mean,
Yeah,
you know the temptations.
definitely. And we knew this was coming. Porn is a huge problem in our culture, and it's more readily available than ever. Ephesians 2:2 describes the devil as the prince of the power of the air. And in this day and age, your boys or your husband don't have to be going out looking for pornography or indiscreet images. It will be looking for them. The enemy is targeting especially Christian husbands and Christian kids. There's ridiculous statistics. 11 is the average age that a child is first exposed to pornography. 94% of children will see pornography by the age of 14. This is not only the world, it is in our churches. The porn
Yes.
industry's annual revenue is more than the NFL, NBA, and MLB combined. It is also more than the combined revenues of ABC, CBS, and NBC combined, all of those together. 57% of pastors say porn addiction is the most damaging issue in their congregation. 25% of all search engine queries are related to pornography. That's about 68 million searches a day.
Hmm.
One out of four searches on Google is for pornography. It is a major issue. Brett and I decided early on we were going to do everything we can to make him and our kids not a statistic. Again, our preacher recommends that children don't have smartphones. We 100% agree with that. If we were handing our boys a smartphone, we'd be saying, hey, it's like handing them a dirty magazine and saying, don't, but just don't look at the pictures.
Yeah, exactly.
Just control yourself.
Yeah, they're not going to.
They're not going to.
No, boys, it's too interesting. There's so
Of
much
course, there's
creativity there.
intrigue for sure.
Mhm.
And it's natural. It's a natural desire. I know Brett would be reading a Sports Illustrated article. Okay. So he's reading a Michigan article, Sports Illustrated, and then a Sports Illustrated picture would come up. It would pop up. He's not looking for it, it's looking for him.
Yeah,
So here's some things that we have done. Our second child, Judson, is entering his senior year. He has a job, so he drives to and from work. And for our peace of mind, we wanted to get him a phone so that he could communicate to us. I made it to work
sure.
safely if there's an emergency, if he was going to be late, so he could communicate that with us. He's a teenager. And we don't want him to be a weirdo and have just a flip phone, although that is 100% okay if you decide to do that. But we decided to get him a Gab phone. A Gab phone is a Samsung phone, but it does not have internet or social media. It is a dumb phone. It's not a smartphone. It doesn't
Mhm.
have internet, doesn't have social media. It could call and it could text. What else I like about it is it does have location. So I could check his location.
So it has GPS for him to use,
Exactly. It has GPS and it has maps. So it turns off all the bad stuff and it allows only the good stuff.
right?
It's been a wonderful solution for our family for me to know that he's not, but even then, we still have to I still read through his texts and he
Mhm.
knows that I'm reading through his texts. He's not allowed to text a girl if it's not in a group. Like he could text his class if there's a
Mhm.
girl in the group. But anyway, that's been a good solution. Then my oldest son and my husband, they have smartphones. And what we have found to be the best solution for them is an app that's called Canopy. Now, we have tried many different solutions. We found Canopy to work the best because it prevents the person from viewing anything. It's an AI technology. So let's say that Brett's on that Sports Illustrated website and that picture pops up. The AI senses, oh, this is an indiscreet image, and it will block it. It will
Okay.
put a white picture there instead of the actual picture. Or
Uh-huh.
let's say you Google actress. Well, there's going to be some actresses that are dressed indiscreet and there's going to be some actresses that are dressed fine. It will just show you the pictures of the ones that are dressed fine. AI will block out in like a white block the ones that are not dressed appropriately. Does that make sense? It's hard
Yes.
to, it's
Yeah.
easier to send a picture, but you
It's
got
easier
it.
for you.
Okay. Let's
Mhm.
say that my son got interested in something and he's having a weak moment and it's nighttime and he types in porn. It will say, hold up, looks like there is some bad stuff on this page. Let's try something else or ask a parent permission. So it will not
Oh,
allow you to even search
uh-huh.
bad things. So that's wonderful too. So even if it's a moment of
Now,
weakness
is
and
there
I
a subscription on that? Like you
there
pay
is a
monthly?
subscription on that.
Mhm.
Right. I want to say I pay $12.99 for like 10 devices. It's on Brett's phone, Brett's computer, Jackson's phone, Jackson's computer, and then we have a computer at home that it's on that computer as well. So if the boys wanted to look up to buy sneakers,
Yeah.
it's on that computer as well. So I could go to bed at night knowing that I've done what I can to protect. Now, I'm not going to say it's not annoying. It's completely annoying. Brett probably daily is asking me, "Hey, can you give me access to this website?" Which is not a bad website, but they have flagged it for some reason.
Something, yeah.
Or let's say he needs to access YouTube because he's using a sermon illustration or something. He'll ask me, "Hey, can I have access?" It's annoying.
Take
I
accountability, like you and him can see what each other are doing. Is that how it works?
Not really. So there's another app that did that had used before, and that's more of accountability. So it allows that person to view whatever, and then it tells you, "Hey, your person has viewed something bad."
Oh,
I
so that
I can't
yeah.
handle that.
No, you don't want that.
We did use that, and I was on it, and I was his accountability partner, and it gave me a ding and
Mhm.
it wouldn't show me the picture. So I was furious with my husband thinking, "You have a problem." So I called the company and I said, "I want to see the picture." And it was a golf club. So it didn't help. That didn't help
Yeah.
us. Now it
Mhm.
might help somebody else. This prevents it from happening. That's something that we have used to help my husband and my kids stay away from it. And women aren't immune either. I'm not If you have a problem, then you need to
Mhm.
get help and figure out one of these apps that could help you because it's a growing problem in men and in women.
Yes. It just helps you avoid the
Yes.
temptation.
Exactly. Exactly. What are some physical health risks associated with prolonged screen use and how can individuals mitigate these risks?
Well, the main one I think of is just how long children and teens are sitting.
Yep.
I mean, I could get in front of a computer if I'm working on a lesson or doing a PowerPoint presentation for my lesson. I could sit there for hours and not even realize how much time has passed.
Yep.
It just goes so fast. And nobody should sit that long.
Mhm.
But children, especially, they sit too long. It's not good for their physical, mental, or emotional health.
Mhm.
If children are sitting in school all day long, the last thing they need to do is to come home and sit in front of video games.
So true.
They sit all day. They need other types of entertainment. My grandson just graduated from high school, so I have mainly granddaughters, and then little Kinney, who's just the little one.
So cute.
I have a lot of little girls that come to my house. And so I have all kinds of things for them to do. I went and bought on OfferUp a used kitchen, a toy kitchen, and it's out on the back porch. And those girls can come and they could make mud pies and they could go pick the leaves and the berries and there's all kinds of vegetation in our backyard and they could make food. They have all these dishes and they can go grocery shopping. They have a little grocery cart and they can go. There's all these things, but it's just it gives them. They have to create like
Yes.
something to do. My husband made a secret room for them. So underneath our staircase, he cut a hole in the wall because there's a space under there because we have a staircase that has several landings. And so in the back of the closet, there's a secret door. But in that secret room is all their dress up clothes, their shoes, and their
So cool.
so when they come over, they do a lot of role play. They make up all these scenarios in their mind. They crack me up listening to them, and they play. They play in the secret room. They dress up. They do the role play. In fact, one day Esther's two girls were over, and they were playing at my house, and I overheard this hilarious conversation. Jenna decided she's 3. This is a couple years ago. She decided she wanted to be the mother this time
Okay.
because her older sister, who was 5 or 6, was always the mother. So I started hearing her say this, "Darling, it's time to go," and then there would be no response. And I'm in the other room, and she tried again several times by saying, "Come on, darling, we must go." And no response. And then she said, Timmy, you're not playing right. You are supposed to be the child, and I'm the mother. And Kimmy said, I don't want to play house. And left the room disgusted because she didn't want to play. She did want to play house until she found out she had to be the child.
That's hilarious.
Jenna is our philosopher. She's always about what if God did this or what if God did that, and so she comes back in the room and she says, God told me in my dreams that you are supposed to be the daughter and I am supposed to be the mother, and you are supposed to play with me. And Kimmy just looked at her and said, no, he didn't, and I'm not gonna play. But you know what? These girls are hilarious.
No
They learn
kidding.
to play things, they make up things. You know what? They know how to do that because they've never spent hours in front of screens.
Yeah.
My grandchildren do not use screens. And kids need to do things that will make their bodies move.
Mm.
They need something that will make their minds create and invent.
Yep.
And we have to be careful we don't let screen time raise our children. You won't like what they become. I mean, at first, children have a hard time. Oh, I'm bored. I'm bored. Sometimes I will go out with them and show them a new recipe that they can make outside in the backyard.
Uh-huh.
And so sometimes they need a little help to get it going. And then they think, oh, we can do that.
Yeah.
And so they just need to play. They need to create. And I believe that screen time causes them to sit around. I think it causes obesity. I think we have overweight children because they're not active.
For sure.
They're not mentally active. They're not physically active. And you know what? You know what you want to do when you're not active? You want to eat all the time.
It's true.
You're always saying, I'm hungry. You know, can I have a snack? Well, they're outside playing. They don't even know they're hungry.
Mm-hmm.
They're just outside playing, having a great time, or inside playing, having a great time. So anyway, I think we're robbing our kids of a lot of creativity with our screens. So anyway, what are some of the practical tips that we'll both talk about here that we can recommend for individuals looking to reduce their screen time and to cultivate healthier habits?
Like I said before, the first step to fixing the problem is admitting that we have a problem. And I have a problem. I have had a problem. And I have, first to say that I have been addicted to my phone. 75% of our listeners are Apple listeners. I could see those stats on the back end. So if you're an Apple listener, you could take out your phone right now and let's see how you're doing. Click on the settings. If you need to pause. Scroll down and click on screen time. If it's not turned on, turn it on. And then next week, this time, you could check how you're doing. But if it is turned on, let's look at this data. The two main things that I like to look at is my daily average. How many hours, yes, hours, am I spending looking at my phone? And then the other thing that I like to look at is if you go to click on website activity, you could see how many times you pick up your phone a day.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very bad at this too. I'll pick up my phone at a red light. I'll pick up my phone while we're talking on this conversation. I'll pick up since I turned all of my notifications off,
Oh,
I want to know, has anything interesting happened? So I try to control that as well. There are ways, if you go to settings under digital well-being and parental controls, for you to manage your screen time. It will kick you off after a certain amount of time you've been on a certain app. You can do that. It's something that's very easy to get around. You just put in a code and you can be like, bypass. So what I've done is I downloaded an app that's called Opal. This is something I never do. I am very frugal and budgeted, but I did pay for this app and it's not cheap. I want to say it's maybe $120 a year. I think it's $10 a month. Opal is a screen management app. You don't have to navigate through settings to find out how much time you're spending on your screen. And it also separates the productive time from the unproductive time so that I could see, I did have a lot of screen time today, but it was productive screen time. It wasn't me just scrolling and doom scrolling. It allows you to make your smartphone a dumb phone. So I could make my phone into a Gab phone by turning off all of the apps.
Mm-hmm.
It also allows you to set app limits. Let's say I want to be on Instagram only for 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes, it will stop me and you says, oh, your 30 minutes is up. Then there's 3 levels of difficulty. You could make it easy for you to bypass it where you just wait for 5 seconds and then it will say, okay, I want to go back on. Or you can make it difficult where you have to wait for 90 seconds. And then, there's contemplative time right there. There's time for the Holy Spirit to say, hey, are you sure that you need to really get on that app? And then there's very difficult where you could only bypass it once a week. Otherwise, you are locked out of your phone. You are locked out. Whatever you have decided that you were going to do, it's going to make you do.
That's
So
when you're really serious about it.
you're really serious about it. Yeah. So I like that. It's not cheap, but it's worth it for me. Another thing that I did is I have deleted all of the apps off my home screen. The only apps I have on there is my Bible app, James Knox sermon app, and then a hymns app. I could show it to you right now. Those are the only apps I have, Mrs. Goddard could see, on my home screen. So what was happening to me was I would go to my phone and let's say I was going to use my calculator. Well, I'm going to use my calculator, but I look at, I need to check my checking account balance. It's like a web of tangled things that I just go bing, bing,
Yes.
all over the place. So this forces me, I have to scroll and I have to type in calculator. I hit the calculator and purpose of me going to my phone is fulfilled and I'm done. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So
Yes.
that has also helped me.
You're not distracted. There's so many
Exactly.
distractions on our phone.
Exactly.
Mhm.
We made a rule that no one in our family is allowed to put on a screen until 8 p.m. No video games, no TV. You come home, you don't even have to ask the question. This way it's not, Mom, can I? No, we're not doing anything. You need to you have to occupy your time. And then there's also a rule that no one could watch TV or play a video game by themselves. Their video games are not online. It doesn't matter. Another person has to be in there. Like you said, I don't want it to be personal. I want it to be you have accountability with at
Yes.
least one other person. And then, like Mrs. Goddard had mentioned before, we make phone-free activity time. For instance, we played a golf game on Monday. We went out with the boys and we played golf. And before we got out there, we said, this is going to be a phone-free activity. So that means Mom can't text somebody. That means Dad can't take a phone call. This is a phone-free activity. Now, once we got back in the car, we could check everything that we need to check. There's no emergency. Nobody died, but a phone-free activity. And you mentioned this. We do that on dates now as well. We have learned our lessons. It doesn't work well for us to not have that intimate time together in talking. So those are phone-free activities. You could buy on Amazon a phone jail. You could put your phone in jail. You could lock it and say, okay, well, after the activity, we could unlock it. And those are practical things that we have done to try to help us with our addictions.
One of the things I thought too is we're trying to teach our children they don't need a phone. They don't need to have that screen.
Right.
But if they see you every moment of the day holding a phone in your hand, you're like a hypocrite.
It's so true.
They're going to see through you as a teenager, and a young child, and they're going to watch you, and they learn by example.
Yep.
And kids tend to copy what they see their parents doing.
It's so
And
true.
at a young age, their parents are the most important person in their life, so they will imitate whatever behavior they see you.
And it's convicting. The older the kids get, the more you realize that
Yes, yes,
they are watching. They are watching.
They are watching. Another thing that I think you had mentioned this already is learning to enjoy screen time together. Have a movie night or a video game. There's a lot of fun games you could play on an iPad.
There is.
That you can play together. The other night, everybody was over here. What was it for? Oh, the 4th of July. And Josiah and Ruth Ann had made a Jeopardy game.
Fun.
That was questions about 4th of July. And then some of them were Bible questions. And they had created it and we played it on the screen in the living room. It was really fun. We played the girls against the guys.
Love it.
And the guys won once, we won once. And then we had to do a third one. And I remember who won the third one.
Girls.
Or if we decided we should quit while we were ahead. Anyway, it was something we all did together.
Yes.
And young people really enjoyed it.
It's a memory. Yes.
Because the teenagers like screens. And yet it was us old people playing. And so it was a lot of fun. But I do like your rule about nobody needs to be on a screen by themselves.
Just dangerous.
And I don't know what you do, but I know Josh did not get a phone until he went to college because he's your generation.
Right.
So that was an issue. But Josiah did, and I think Esther did when they started driving, because that's when phones were starting to come in. But it wasn't their phone. It was a family phone, and then it stayed in the kitchen. It didn't go to their bedroom. They took it when they needed it to go
Right.
someplace, and when they came home, it stayed on the counter. Because I know when I was growing up, no parent would put a phone in their kid's room.
Right.
You wouldn't put a television in your kid's room.
Yep.
It's just a whole new life and a whole new way of thinking about things.
Yes.
But anyway, I think the late night phone use is not good.
And I'm guilty of that. I know because Brooklyn is up many times through the night. And I would go and check with her. She's having a seizure, or she's having some gas issues. And then I would come back in. And my temptation would be to just get my phone, amuse myself, and go back to bed. But honestly, the sweetest time I have with the Lord is when I'm still in my bed. I had to make a choice. Am I going to use this time to pray for people where no one in the house is awake right now? I'm not disturbed by anybody, and I could spend that sweet time with the Lord that He has allowed me to have, or I could scroll aimlessly. So I had to take my phone out of my bedroom, and that fixed all the problem.
Well, they say it's healthier not to have your phone next to you when you sleep anyway because
I've
of the
heard that.
radiation and all this. So I think they're going to come up with more reasons
To get it out.
why the phone is not all that healthy for us. But
Yeah.
we'll wait and see. That's a prediction I have.
Yeah. We'll get the stats when it. Yes. We'll let you know when science catches up to our predictions.
Right. You had something you were going to talk about being wise about choosing the media that you view.
VidAngel is something that you could buy on a subscription. What they do is they take a movie and then they take out all of the indiscreet things or the bad words of it, and then you could watch it filtered. And we have used that in the past. The only negative thing about that is then my kids will be talking about this movie that they watched, or even I will talk about this movie that they watched, and it's a bad movie.
You
But
don't know
I didn't know.
how bad it was because you see it, right? Yes.
But
Yes.
I mean, it is a tool, and if you use it wisely, it could be definitely a benefit to the family.
Yeah, there are some movies that there's really nothing wrong in it except for someone has a bad mouth.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And you could get rid of all of that.
Yeah, and it really helps.
That's a very loose statement to say there is nothing really wrong.
Sure.
Because
Sure.
there's no such thing as a movie put out by the world where there's nothing really wrong
Right.
in it.
Especially nowadays, that's for sure.
We just have to be careful. But I don't really know that I needed guidelines like those things because if you just know what your value system is, my children never watched anything we hadn't already seen. They just never had. We just checked everything out before we took time to have them watch it. But anyway.
Yeah, same with books. Yeah, it's wise. It's just wise.
Another idea was to keep bedtime, mealtime, and family time screen free. I think I already said that. We don't need to always have these phones around us. What else shall we say about that, Jen?
I mean, I feel like we've talked about a myriad of topics here. Now let me go check my phone to see what I missed during this conversation.
Okay, so we're getting convicted here.
Yes, but this is profitable. It's a problem that's not going away. It's something that we're going to have to deal with. It's like food. We're all going to have to make good choices. There is good food and there is bad food. You have to eat every day. So it's just a matter of what choice are you going to make and how could we make better choices? Like you said, what values can we make paramount that we don't fall into, fall into temptation. There you go.
When my children were growing up, it wasn't so much screens, it was just more television.
Sure.
We would try to teach people, be very careful what you watch on television.
Yes.
And limit your television time, and you don't need to be sitting in front of the TV. Now it's that 2.0,
Totally.
It's that and even more so.
Yes.
So I don't think this is going to get better.
No, I don't think so either. In fact, Brett was just listening to a sermon, Brother Heil's sermon on justice, and he was talking about the television isn't the biggest problem. The biggest problem is the telephone because so-and-so said something about so-and-so. And I'm thinking, if he only knew what we have now.
Well, now they combine them both. Yes.
Yes.
So, I know. It's the same biblical principles. Though.
Exactly. So those sermons are still valid today.
Everything should be done with moderation.
Right.
There are priorities in life. And that too much of anything is not good for you.
Amen.
Too much of a good thing. Like even if you get something where only good stuff will come on. Too much entertainment, even if it's good entertainment,
Amen.
is not life.
Yes.
And need to be balanced. People, the young mothers really need to take seriously, I only have this child so many years.
It goes so
Am
fast.
I going to let a screen raise this child?
Yes.
I do have a responsibility here, and I need to get off my phone, and I need to not use the phone or the screens to entertain them. I know that's my responsibility.
Yeah.
And I think too, we need to train our young girls what to do as a mother.
Mm,
Nobody likes to do something they don't feel they're very good at.
right?
So if they don't know how to discipline their children, they don't know how to spend time with their children, they don't even know what they're supposed to be teaching their children. Give somebody else the child while I go to work and make money. Maybe that'll make us happy. We're just in a messed up
Agreed.
society.
Agreed. Well, thank you for your wisdom. I enjoyed this conversation, and I hope that our listeners do too. Season 5 is coming up, and Mrs. Goddard has already approved the 10 new ladies that we'll be having. Season 5 will be entitled Back to the Field, and we'll be interviewing 10 new missionary wives. So I hope you'll tune in, and you could go ahead and leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That helps other listeners find our podcast. So thank you for listening, and have a great day.
Lord, remind me of your power when I think that I am strong. Lord, remind me of your holiness when I think I've done no wrong. When my heart becomes so proud that I forget you are my song. Lord, remind me that I'm weak and you are strong. Let your strength shine through my weakness, all my pride to forsake. Let your glory overtake. Let your strength shine through my weakness. Any good I've done is all because of you. Lord, I want a heart that's humble, one that's tender towards you. Will you help me to be open when you show me your truth? Please don't let me be so proud that I forget to lean on you. Lord, I want my life to be a reflection of you. Let your strength shine through my weakness, all my pride to forsake. Let your glory overtake. Let your strength shine through my weakness. Any good I've done is all because of you. Let your strength shine through my weakness, all my pride to forsake. Let your glory overtake. Let your strength shine through my weakness. Any good I've done is all because of you. Any good I've done is all because of you.
Thank you so much for listening to the Help Me Abide podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode as much as we did. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to us on social media or through our podcast website, www.helpmeabide.com. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. The Help Me Abide podcast is a ministry of the Faith Baptist Church of Wildomar, California, pastored by Pastor Bruce Goddard. That being said, it's important to remember that this podcast is not a substitute for regular church attendance. We encourage all of our listeners to be faithful members of a local, independent, Bible-believing Baptist church. My heartfelt gratitude goes out to Mrs Tammy Goddard, who facilitates the podcast, Lisa Grubb, who expertly directs our social media outreach, Connie Marujo, who tirelessly promotes our resources, and Lindsay Osgood, who provides the perfect musical accompaniment to the interviews. Without our amazing team, this podcast would not be possible. Also, big thanks to Faith Music Missions for allowing us to use their beautiful music on our podcast. Thanks again for listening. We'll be back soon with more inspiring content.